On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, we've got over an hour with the head football coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, Brent Venables. And that's it. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, February 28th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there's so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful, award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options in the month of March, it's almost March, Ted. Woo. All you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the best. Now recording this Wednesday morning. Please leave us a 5-star review and a nice comment. Also, if your business would like to advertise on the podcast, please email us at theoklahomabreakdown@gmail.com. Dad, it's our 400th episode, man. Whoa.
Amazing. It's been great. Shocking. 400, though. That's a lot.
It feels like a lot, but we can't waste any time, man. There was only one person to go after to be the guest on the 400th episode, and we got him. Brent Venables, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. Hope you enjoy it. It is our pleasure to be joined by the head football coach of the Oklahoma Sooners. Brent Venables is in the house. Coach, it's our 400th episode. We couldn't have anyone else on as a guest, baby. Let's go.
400. Let's go, man. Congratulations to y'all. That's big time.
Been fun. It's been a grind. I know you guys are getting the work in, and there's been a lot of you got a lot of continuity carrying forward, but there's also been a lot of change. New defensive coordinator, Zac Alley, may be the biggest one. We haven't heard a whole lot from you about him. I know you guys have a nice history. What led to you bringing him in?
Just a lot of things. We've improved. We've made the incremental improvement the first couple of years, and just moving forward for what's best for us, in the future, going to the SEC and what's best for our players. I thought having an opportunity to bring in, a Zac that's incredibly familiar with not only our staff, but certainly our schemes and what would be best for the players. I felt that, moving forward, this is kind of what we needed.
What does adding Zac Alley do for you, right? This is a big discussion. Like, will you be less involved on the defensive side of the ball? Will that open you up to doing a little more on special teams? Like, how does adding Coach Alley to the staff, someone that you trust to run that system, how does that change how you're approaching what your involvement's going to be with the defense?
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, I was hired because of my success over a long period of time on defense. And so, my first year I was a lot more hands off, and we weren't very good at anything. We weren't efficient. We weren't good at stopping people. I said yes way too much when it came to everything other than football. And I knew I needed to help us get better on defense. And that was my charge. I said, a year ago at this time, if we get a little bit better on defense, we'll have a chance to win 10 games and compete for a conference championship. And, we made incredible improvement, in the areas that we emphasized. We became one of the most efficient football teams in football teams. I mean, I'm talking about offense and defense in how we did what we did. We improved over 20. We were top 5 offense a year ago after the 22 season. But we felt like we needed to get better in so many areas. We improved in 14 categories. We made at least 20 plus spots improvement in 14 different categories on offense, on a really good offense. And we went 96% better on fourth down, or 96 spots better on fourth down. We went from 108th to 12th in the country. In completion percentage, we said we're not making as many layups as we needed to. We go from 61st in the country to 9th in the country. We improved 55 spots. We wanted more points per possession. We had too many 3 and outs, after the 22 season. We were incredibly explosive on other drives, but we needed to have better game control. And we go from 50th in the country and improve 45 spots, and we become the top 5 in the country in points per possession. We were pretty good at protecting the quarterback, not taking the lost yardage plays in 22, but we were still ranked 82nd in the country, and we moved 45 spots to 37th in the country. I can go on and on. Tackles for loss, we went from 78th in the country, and we improved 44 spots in that category. We went third down. We were solid. We were 39th in the country, and we moved 42 spots to top 7 in the country. So we did the same, even more. And I got, there's, like I said, 14 categories. We improved 20 plus spots on offense, and on defense, we improved 16 plus spots, at least 30 places. So we got better. We go from 115th in the country in rushing touchdowns allowed. We moved 83 spots better to top 30 in the country. We improved in red zone touchdown rate in 80 spots on defense. Goes from 100.
That was the biggest one. I felt like the red zone
So
stuff.
got a lot better in the red zone, And again, we go from 104th to 24th in the country there. Third down defense, couldn't stop anybody. We go from 88th in the country to top 15 in the country. Total touchdowns allowed, we go from 100th in the country to 38th in the country. Completion percentage, we're giving up 62%. We had a top 20 completion percentage defense, even though, again, in this, listen, I'm not pounding our chests. We got to get better in every area. We're nowhere close to where we want to be, but we move 70 spots better on completion percentage. And rushing defense, we go from 106 to 44th. We improve 62 spots. Again, points per possession, because we still, even though we had much better ball control and much better game control as a football team, we got off the field in a more efficient way on defense, and we played more complementary football on how we did what we did on offense. But points per possession, we went from 77th in the country to 30th in the country. And that's a real thing. Scoring defense, again, we go from 99th in the country to top 50, and got a long ways to go. Still giving up too many easy ones when we shouldn't. And again, total defense from 122nd, we moved 43 spots better. And turnovers, one of the most opportunistic defenses in the country. Again, go from 37th in the country to 7th in the country. And just made a lot of improvements. Yards per play, we still got a lot of work to do there, but we improved 28 spots. You want to be a top team in college football, you need to be in that 4 to 4.5 yard range, yards per play. And right now, we're in that just under 5.5 yards. So we gotta make improvement there, as well, and everywhere. But I need to be involved with the defense. That's what I like to do. It's what I love to do. And but I'm involved in every part of the team. And we weren't very good when you look at you look at the sheer rankings on our special teams, but you got to make a few more kicks. You can't turn the ball over. And we started out the year where we weren't punting the ball efficiently, but we ended the year with Luke Elzinga, the back half of the season, and that's more what we want to be from a consistency standpoint. And Luke was outstanding. But your rankings are going to go to hell quick if you're not making chip shot field goals. And we had 2 turnovers on kickoff return. So I don't care what you do the rest of the season. You got 2 turnovers on kickoff return. We turned after a big kickoff return against Tulsa. We fumbled the ball past midfield and give them the ball. And then at Kansas, they sky kicked it on us and we fumbled and we held them there. But just like in the Tulsa game, we fumbled and we got an interception on that drive. And the kickoff return against Kansas, they missed the field goal. But your rankings are going to go to hell quick in those areas. And our kickoff team was top 5 in the country. But our punt return, we had 2 turnovers there and can't happen. We ran into the kicker with our own guy, got shoved into him and fumbled. And, I believe that was against West Virginia. And we held them there. And against TCU, we gave them an easy one. We got to do a better job with some of our decision making, and they'll be wide open, going into the spring and into the summer and into fall camp. We've got a lot of weapons there. At times, Gavin was outstanding, but we got to possess the football, point blank. But it's kickoff return. We fair catch every one of them next year. We don't turn the ball over. We'll have a chance to be top 30 in the country. Same thing on punt return. We just fair catch it and let the damn ball bounce, but we got to be better and got to take care of the football. Can't turn the ball over on either one of those units. And again, I feel like we're going to, with the additions that we have, I think Zac's going to be better and we got to be better there. But Liam Evans and Tyler Keltner are both guys that we feel are going to make us better. They're here this spring and again, punting, whether Luke, again, we'll have an open competition there, but Luke really showed the type of stability that we need at that position as well. And if we do those things that I'm talking about, not even talking about bringing in, Doug Deacon and the things that we're really excited about, what he's going to bring to the table from a coaching and a scheme, he'd be our special teams coordinator and coming in from San Diego State, where again, he's top 10 in the country 3 straight years. And where we were last year, again, I felt like Jay Nunez was outstanding in how we coached our fundamentals, our drill work, our schemes, game day decisions. And but we got to make chip shot field goals. Can't turn the ball over on our return units. And we got to be, consistent, punting the ball. And again, like I said, the back half of the season, we're pretty dang good there. So my expectation is we continue to become more efficient in every part of our football program. And, Zac's going to give us an opportunity to, how he thinks is very similar to me. He anticipates like a good play caller will, like a good quarterback will. There's an anticipation that you have, and he thinks things through, 2 and 3 games ahead of time, or looking at new guys on the roster that way as well. And then certainly on game day, we just have, you have almost a decade together. That's a lot of time. And so he knows what my expectations are. And I'm really excited. Really thankful again, thought that Ted did a great job of being a great teammate. And we all were a part of the improvement that we made. But it was just time to get a young, fresh face with new ideas and that maybe philosophically really aligned with what we want to do in transitioning, going into the SEC. Thought this was, just instinctively thought this was the right time, for those things.
Now, the whole level of the team you brought up, you're not there, as you said, but from year 1 to year 2, massive improvement as you laid out there. What's the next step, defensively speaking, to getting to that elite level? And I know you want to get better at everything, but there's got to be a couple of areas, whether it's, a 4-man rush or, some of the coverage things. Like, what are some of the detail things that you got to take that next step to become elite?
It's kind of like, there's lots of different stats that you can play to whatever narrative you want. You really can. And people do, and that's fine. Now I try to find out what's real. And for example, again, we had one of the best quarterback pressure ratings in all of college football. and
Made it come out quick.
it's
That's the
top
thing no one
20,
talks about.
you
The
know, in the
ball's
country.
always out
So
quick.
yeah, so quarterback knockdowns, the completion percentage went way down from where we were a year ago. The quarterback ratings were top 25 in the country. I'm sorry, top 20 in the country in quarterback rating. You can look at pass defense, and all of a sudden you're not where you want to be. But if you look at, again, you know, efficiency rating, PBUs, you know, we were dang good. And again, we want more sacks, but again, schematically, people weren't going to give us those opportunities. And so you can say, well, we couldn't get to the quarterback. In some ways, that's true. But again, our pressure rating, our quarterback hits, our completion percentage all went down. But I think if you said one thing that we got to be better, for me, it's, you know, just plays at 20 yards or more, both in the run and the pass. And we clean that up, and we're going to immediately become a top 25, top 20, top 15 defense. And no reason for us not to expect, you know, as we continue to grow and develop and get better, you know, to, you know, what a top 10 unit looks like year in and year out. And but we gotta do a better job. I think, you know, we get a little bit nonchalant at the most critical times, and the explosive plays are the ones that, you know, we have 3 or 4 where we just, you know, smash them 3 or 4 straight drives in a row. We get into a really good rhythm, and then give up a sprint draw for 50, you know. And as we know, you get 1 or 2 guys out of position, that's all it takes. You know, guys not doing their job, or getting a little too far up the field, or putting their eyes in the wrong place, or not communicating or anticipating the motion, and they get into a 2-man stack or man-to-man, and one guy's open. You know, we're not on the same page. And so that's, as you develop, you know, discipline foundationally, man, we got to become a more disciplined team. You know, we got to clean up our pre-snap penalties. We're not good, you know, a year ago. And some of the guys making them, you know, we got to be a lot better. And you should never have receivers with procedural issues, you know, pre-snap. So we got to clean some of those things up as well. And then again, continue to make, you know, improvement in you know, in 4-minute offense, 2-minute offense, 4-minute defense, and, you know, 2-minute defense. You know, all areas where, you know, we made tremendous improvement in our middle 8, and our third quarter was pretty solid. But in those, you know, a couple of the critical games, and again, you look at, again, you know, our 3 losses. You know, we had that's where we had, you know, all of our, you know, had 12 turnovers there. I think we had 16 turnovers on the season, and 12 of them happened in our 3 losses. Probably not real surprising, and that's, you know, where the penalty showed up as well. And I think the bowl game, a little bit of an aberration with a bunch of new guys up front and some of those penalties, and that's going to be expected. And you know, so it all counts and it all matters, but you do have a, you know, perspective on all the right things. But offensively, I'm really pleased with. I thought we had a dominant year. Got to be better again situationally in a couple of those games, and that's the name of the game. And again, you're looking at, you know, one of the 2 games during the course of the season. If you know, you get off the field on fourth and 6, or you convert one of your 3rd downs or your 4th downs, you know, you're playing in the Big 12 championship. We lost a tiebreaker, a coin flip, essentially. You know, and we. The 2 teams that played in the Big 12 championship earned the right to be there. That's how I looked at it, and we didn't. And but my perspective is that there's disappointment in not getting to the Big 12 championship and have a chance to play for a playoff spot. But I also recognize, you know, the small little things on any given play. You know, that's how you get there. That's what keeps you out. So it always comes down to the basics. It's not the big things. It's always the little things. And so we won't lose our vision that way. And if we're going to, again, make another jump and, you know, take the next step as a program transitionally, both on the field and off the field, it'll be about the basics, Teddy, Gabe. It's not going to be about the big things, but it's a lot of little things, and you put it all together, it can make a, you know, really, really big difference.
We'll get you back to the interview, but first, Love's Travel Stops is now offering a nationwide 10-cent per gallon discount on gas and auto diesel. Just download the Loves Connect app and scan your barcode at the prompt on screen and watch that price drop 10 cents per gallon. Across the country, the Loves Connect app unlocks exclusive deals, can help any traveler plan their route or meal on the highway. So before you hit the road, be sure to download the Loves Connect app to save 10 cents per gallon and experience the country's best highway hospitality at Love's Travel Stops. Love's also has you covered if you forget your phone charger or headphones with their expanded mobile to-go zone. And of course, don't forget to grab yourself some of that delicious Java Amore.
And celebrate with a Schooner All-American Ale, the official craft beer of OU Athletics from Coop Ale Works. Named after the iconic Sooner scooter that races across Owen Field after an OU score, you can join in on the celebration with an ice-cold beer from Coop Ale Works. You can enjoy it at the Palace on the Prairie, at OU Athletic events, at the bar, at the tailgate, and in the comfort of your own home. For more information on Schooner All-American Ale, visit schoonerale.com. Must be 21 to purchase. Please drink responsibly. Schooner All-American Ale, the taste of game day.
And we love Simple Modern. Simple Modern is an Oklahoma-owned company whose mission is to exist to give generously. And they do. They've given away more than $6 million in the last 8 years, and they give away at least 10% of profits each year. We love supporting a company that's working to make a difference in Oklahoma and beyond. And their products are awesome. They are the perfect swag for any small business owner. You can customize tumblers, water bottles, and coffee mugs to give to current or potential customers. Check it all out at simplemodern.com today. All right, back to the interview. Jackson Arnold is going to be a guy that everyone's going to be talking about leading up to the season, and rightfully so. He's the quarterback. But, Coach, you know me, nothing makes a QB's life easier than having a really good offensive line in front of him. And you guys lost a ton off the offensive line. Now, Sexton and Everett, they'd started some games for you last season, but and I know that you still have spring practice, you still got training camp. There's a long way to go before you guys kick this thing off in the fall. But right now, how are you feeling about that offensive line group as a whole?
Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't done anything together as a unit, really. So I think it would be disingenuous for me to say, hey, next man up and everything's going to be great. Every year you got to start over, and we don't have the returning cohesion and the chemistry that when you have a bunch of guys with experience that have been together, that's a real thing. And so, but you have time to develop that. And so we've been doing that off the field. You've been doing it in your mat drills and in your weight workouts, and trying to develop trust and relationships that the byproduct is, really good cohesion and chemistry, and, where everybody has each other's back and everybody's on the same page. And so we brought in 4 transfers, and we got 5 high school kids that 4 of which are on campus now. And so 8 of those 9 are on campus. With Eddie Pierre Louis, the only remaining guy that's not here yet. And we'll always keep our options open for the spring transfer portal if we feel like there's somebody that makes us better and that's better than what we have, or maybe that gives us an addition. Can we move guys around and get the best combination of guys based on what we see over the course of the spring? So I'm really excited about the group of guys. With the group of guys that's coming in, we do have tremendous experience, with those 4 transfers, and Spencer and Fabechi, Michael Tarquin, and Garen Hatcher. So, really excited about that group of guys. They've got a depth of starting experience at Power 5 level. And maybe our most impressive guy so far has been Fabechi in all of our mat drills. He's incredibly explosive, got a great story, great competitor. And one of the things I love about this time of the year is you really get to develop the competitive spirit of your team. Certainly you're developing and helping guys grow from a leadership standpoint, creating the buy-in, and that next group of leaders is developed now. This is that time. Everything that you lean on and the fourth quarter in September and October, November, that fourth quarter is developed right now. The mindset, the attitude, the belief, the trust, the physical toughness that you got to have. that's where championships are won, in that fourth quarter, and you develop all that right now. And so what I love about, again, our setup again for our third straight, off season is it feels like we've been here 5 or 6 years, but this is just going on our third spring. So we got 2 spring balls under our belt and going on after our third, but everything that you do in the fall is all developed right now. And we got 7.5 weeks of training going into spring break or spring ball rather, 12 days away, and really excited about the depth of what we've been able to develop. 36 scholarship guys, is what we have here, for our team with, this next group of guys coming in. Plus, I really like the group of, walk-ons that we were able to bring in, here during the course of the spring, as well. Casey Thompson, Jake Roberts, Jocelyn, Malaska, Liam Evans, Tyler Keltner, Jacob Jordan. That's a really good group of guys, coming in here for spring ball, that we feel like every single one of them are going to play pivotal roles for us, and have an opportunity to scholarship worthy kind of guys. And so that gives us an opportunity to have some, real tremendous depth. And then again, the, offensive line is, it takes everybody, again, the quarterback, getting the ball out on time and operating things. And, when you're in your RPO world and, some of your either ors, making good decisions that way, and again, protecting the ball, everybody looks good up front. But we got a lot of work to do, no doubt about it. I feel great about the guys that we're able to bring in and that fit us and that meet the needs. And I also believe in our returning players. We've got a great group of, young guys, returning guys that have proven that they can, play at a high level. And again, we're going to have some guys make, again, tremendous improvement, but this is a developmental game. This is, what you do, the law of the bamboo. And, for a long time, you plant it and then it remains dormant. And then all of a sudden in, 6 weeks, it grows 90 feet. And that's a reminder about faith and perseverance and belief and overcoming. It's not about what you become, it's what you overcome. And we've got guys, working hard, diligently and relentlessly, passionately with our strength and conditioning staff and the players that are here. I couldn't be more excited about what my eyes have shown me, again, through 6.5 weeks of training and what we got going, going into spring ball, and then certainly what's coming even in the summertime, with at least 7 additional scholarship players and the things that these guys are going to bring to the table.
Well, you mentioned a lot of the newcomer guys, some of the earlier enrollees and some of the transfer guys, but maybe some of the guys that you think could be like real game changers. I know Deion Burks is an incredible athlete, and he's going into what's already a super talented wide receiver room, but he looks like he could be a guy that is a big contributor. Maybe Bauer Sharp could turn into a weapon at tight end. He, along with Jake Roberts, I know you hit on the offensive line, but how about some of the guys defensively? Just maybe some guys you think are going to be game changers out of that portal group.
Well, again, and you hit on some guys that I think are going to be critical that help make us better. Where maybe depth at tight end and some of the things that maybe we want to do that. The health of our tight end group, man, we've just been snake bit there, but. The additions, both again Bauer and Jake, can't be undersold of what we, feel like that they can bring to the table to the rest of the guys that are coming back. And you hit it on the head. Deion Burks is a special dude. We lost a special player, Drake, and there's no replacing him. You want to, collectively replace the productivity, obviously, but man, what a gamer, as we all know, Drake was, and the leadership, and he made everybody around him better. Those are qualities that are absolutely invaluable in any football team, any locker room. You want to be a championship program, you've got to have some of those pillars in your locker room. And every year you can't just count on having that, you just can't. You developed it, you nurture it, but some guys got it and some guys don't. and there wasn't a better teammate than Drake Stoops, and he epitomized what you want all your guys to be about. And I really do feel like we've got a depth of those types of guys. I really do. And you're right, our wide receiver group couldn't be more excited about what they can be, this year's version of that group, and to take another step. And well, we got to continue to make improvement there, but really feel like Dion, his playmaking ability, he's wide open. Everything he does, he's wide open, incredibly competitive, loves to compete. He gonna give you everything he's got, and it don't matter what it is. And I'll say that about all the transfers that we've brought in. And I'm like this. There's conjecture that's out there about maybe guys that we did recruit when we actually never recruited them. Oh yeah, they went after him, but he went somewhere else. No, there's a couple, but not many. We didn't recruit any safeties. We didn't need safeties. Didn't try, didn't set up visits. But we took guys where we felt like we could get somebody that made us better. Day one, they feel a need. That maybe again a receiving group, really good, that's coming back. But man, this is a guy that within that group we feel like can make us better. A game changer. He can play outside, can play inside. Outstanding return man, and he's a special guy. Des Malone, a big corner from San Diego State. We got to get better at corner, and we got some really good young corners on our roster. Going into last year, my number one fear was the lack of experience there. And at times, we between injury and lack of experience, we were a little uneven at that position. Not anywhere close to a championship level, because if you're at a championship level, if you're something, you're consistent, and we weren't consistent. And again, some of that certainly was to no one's fault. But when you're inexperienced and then you're in and out of the lineup, or you're in and out of practice because we can't stay healthy as a group, that's a problem. And Woody was really strong and consistent, and brings us great leadership there and wisdom. And Woody actually could do a lot. He could play multiple positions, and we'll look at some of that, as well as this is another year for, man, I'm fired up. Gentry Williams won't participate in the spring. He had a labrum surgery. Just couldn't keep that thing healthy during the season. And so he won't, unfortunately, be participating in spring ball. But guys like Jacoby Johnson and Makari Vickers and Josiah Wagner and a host of others, young guys that we really feel we have a chance, to make big steps, at times. And again, same thing. Kanaya was in and out of the lineup for us last year as well. But we need him to take that next step. And really, he's had an outstanding, his best out of season that he's had. And if we get the best version of him, and he did some great things in the bowl game. And really excited about him. And then Des Malone has been here, and he's big, he's long, he's mature, a great teammate, really smart. He's going to fit in really, really well. And then Jocelyn Malaska, all of his testing numbers, he was number one in a really talented group. He was number one in the short shuttle and the 40, and I think the vertical. I think Jacoby was right there with them, and we had several guys that were really good. But Jocelyn, he's almost 6'3", he's 200 pounds, and he's a 4'4" guy that can change direction. A lot of times you worry about those long guys, they can't change direction, and he could do that. He just doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's got a lot in front of him. And really liked the look in his eye and the things that he's done from a competitive standpoint. And, the other guy on offense, Sam Franklin, really love what, he's, again, same thing, the humility, the work ethic, the toughness, his speed and agility and explosiveness. He's fit in really well, and that's going to bring out the best. Sometimes you bring in some of these guys too, immediately, what I want to see is everybody around them that's competing with them get better and step the game up. And that's the expectation for everybody. It is for the coaches, and it certainly is, for all the players. And we work hard at trying to make sure that guys, I don't care what your depth of experience is coming back, that nobody's comfortable. And you don't get better in when things are easy and things are comfortable. And if we're going to build something to last, man, it's never going to come easy. And that's where I'm, we don't have a guys like Danny and guys like Billy, you ought to see them pulling for their teammates in everything. It's one thing to show up 1 or 2 days of the week and you have that juice and that energy and excitement for your teammates, but how about every day? How about every day when your motives are pure, it's coming from the right place. That's going to show up and resonate every day. And that's what I look for in recruiting players, whether they're from the portal or out of high school, guys that have the motives are pure, and as opposed to having this agenda. And there ain't nothing wrong with big dreams and goals and aspirations. I'm not downplaying that, but I want guys that understand the value of hard work and earning what you get, and the development piece that I'm not anywhere close, coach. I'm going to come in there with a humble attitude. I'm being there competitive. I'm not going to take a backseat to nobody. When it's time for me to compete for my opportunity, you're going to get everything I got. And but there's no expectations other than, man, I just want an opportunity. And I'm thankful and grateful to be a part of such an amazing university like the University of Oklahoma and the excellence that's it's represented. I'm looking for guys that have those types of motives, and choosing to come to Oklahoma. And if they're not about that, if they're a great player at times, but man, they're really, really high maintenance. And again, I'm not looking for choir boys. I've got a little bit of tolerance to a certain degree, but I've also got a locker room that's counting on me to make good decisions. And our staff, the people I bring into, this world for the players to mentor and to lead and teach and guide and correct, challenge, and certainly the teammates the same thing. That they're counting on me to do exactly what I say I'm going to do and protect our culture that we've built. And it takes years and years and years to build a great culture that has sustainability and longevity. And it takes days, weeks, a month, to chop it down. And to me, it all goes back to people, finding great people that have a belief and value system to what you do, and everybody pulling that rope and nobody letting go. And when you're highly invested, you ain't letting go. And through the first 2.5 years, we've had to figure that out. And we had tremendous turnover, from 50% of our roster after the 21 season, going into the 22 season, we lost almost 50% of our scholarship roster. And close to that after the 22 season, after we played Florida State a year ago in January, just whatever that is, that's 13 months ago. And we had 97 players that were either in their first or their second year at Oklahoma, 63 brand new players a year ago in January. And, we're turning over right about 35% of our roster this year. So much better. And then I expect the 25 class to be our smallest class. And that's more like it, and even though that as the portal stands now, there's the fluidity of college football rosters, that's a real thing. And again, trying to develop an environment and a culture where, man, it's going to be hard to leave. And, I want guys to feel like they're connected, and, it may not happen for me in year 1 or year 2, but man, if I just stick with it, have some stick to itness, man, everything, all of my dreams, all of my goals, all of my aspirations, man, I'm going to hit that target. That's graduation. That's my manhood. That's my development as a player, to being in a championship environment, in a locker room that's going to bring out the best in me. And guys that, man, they feel like they're going to be attached to something for the next 35, 40 years that means something to them, man, and where they can bring their families back to. And that's what we've worked hard at trying to create, and being, as we transition going to the SEC, one of the most forgiving leagues on the planet, man, I really love where we're at right now. And it's going to be a great, great challenge, but we can't continue to grow and develop and change as a program without that challenge. And that's what the league's going to present us. I think we got 6 of the top 15 ranked teams in the country on our schedule. And, but I'm not willing to concede any one of them, and I know we've got some tough venues to play on the road, incredibly tough, whether it's, you're going to Oxford, or you're going to Columbia, or you're going to, Baton Rouge, certain Auburn, Alabama, and all of those places with really good football teams, some of their best teams that they've had in some time, will be a great challenge, or the teams that are coming in here, Tennessee, South Carolina, and in Alabama. But our players, I can promise you, they're not willing to concede any of those games. And but we're doing what we can right now to develop and improve and get better and to connect with one another, and again develop again our leadership and our chemistry, and attack all of our weaknesses that we know are out there based on where we were a year ago at this time.
If you're going to have a successful first season in the SEC, you're going to have to get good play from the quarterback. Jackson Arnold I thought the experience he got in the bowl game was great, especially working with Joe John and working with Seth to develop that plan for that game. It's completely different, though, when you become the guy, right? When you are the quarterback at Oklahoma, you're the face of the team, you're the face of the university. What type of growth, not only, when it comes to his skill set, but his leadership, what type of growth have you seen from Jackson this offseason?
Well, I think the most important growth happened during our season. He had the humility and the wherewithal, the intuition. Man, I have this amazing opportunity to be mentored and learn from one of the best collegiate quarterbacks in college football in the history of the game. That's what the stats show with Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. Whether it's his processes and how he attacked the out of season, or how he led from the sideline, or his decision making on game day, executing some of the basics. He had a willingness to learn and grow and get better, as opposed to be a sleepy freshman and not expect to get in the game, and it's not his time. Jackson's built different. He's wired differently, and he had the humility to learn from other people. And but since the end of the our last game, again, having a great self-awareness that Jackson does. Hey man, these are things he took ownership in the things that he could have done better, and I think that's part of it. And as failure is that fertilizer that we don't like it sometimes. It smells funky and all that, but the fertilizer that failure gives you, is how you get where you want to go. And he's willing to spread it everywhere. But his leadership, hey, he's the guy. Everything starts with him. He sets the thermostat in every environment that he goes into, whether that's, showing up to competitions over there at the, indoor facility, or the weight room, or the walkthroughs, the segment meetings. Everything goes through Jackson Arnold. Certainly when it comes to the offense and the quarterback room, but even as a team, you're at the University of Oklahoma. There's a level of expectation from a leadership and a toughness and being the example that position requires. And so it's not for the faint of heart. And but at the same time, he just needs to be him. It's not going to be him. He's got his own silo over here, and it's all on him, because it's not. And we got a great foundation of other leaders around him too, that are going to support him and help him become a great player and a great leader. And but he's in line with those guys. And so just seeing the confidence more outward in his leadership. Sometimes, again, when you have he took his place on the roster last year, and just he knew that this is an opportunity to learn, and he didn't know what he didn't know. And so he had that humility and awareness about what he needed to do to get better. And now he's just attacked it with just a relentless mindset. Every single day he's been wide open, and and very intentional about everything that he's been doing. So I'm excited. Again, we haven't taken any snaps out there together for team 130, and a team where he's the guy, for a full spring. And wherever we start in the spring, my expectations will be better by the end of the spring. And then there'll be another opportunity through what you can do with the guys in the summertime. Now we'll install again over the course of the summer prior to fall camp, and there'll be another big jump. And then the same thing in fall camp, a season of its own. And we'll have another opportunity to install the whole offense and take another big jump too. So this is that next phase for us here in 11 days, and really, really excited about him and the other guys, Mike Hawkins and Brendan Zerberg and, Casey Thompson, that group of guys. I'm really excited about all those guys, the development that it's going to happen for them too.
We'll get you back to the interview, but first,
All you grill masters, listen up. Didier Ranch delivers premium quality beef that is 100% raised in Oklahoma right to your front door. Go to didierranch.com, DIDIER ranch.com to order one of their premium quality beef boxes and use promo code Oklahoma15 for 15% off your order. Filet, ribeye, New York strips, sirloin, steak burgers, they've got it all, and they ship anywhere in the continental U.S., and Oklahomans get their deliveries in just 1 to 2 days. The only thing better than having a lot of premium beef on the O and D line is having premium beef delivered right to your front door. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better.
and head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and some ice cold beer. It's the perfect spot to watch any big game. And with all garage locations being open to 10 p.m. or later every night, it is the go-to late night spot. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you and order online from the garage in your neighborhood. All right, back to the interview.
Couple of things defensively I'm excited about. Like the backer spot, Stutzman obviously coming back. Who's going to play opposite him? It feels like your depth there is, so far advanced than it was a year ago and 2 years ago. Like the cheetah spot too, you kind of had the traditional Sam nickel thing working a little bit last year there. So those guys, and then PJ, he's the freak, right? You can just see it out there. Like what has his development been like through the off season?
Yeah, no, another, again, really good question. And I look at that cheetah, same thing. It was kind of like corner for us. We had a hard time staying healthy there, particularly early in the first part of your season. We lost both Justin Harrington and Dasan McCullough in the first game. And then we went through, then we used Peyton Bowen, who's learning how to play safety. We used Reggie Pearson, who's trying to learn our system and play safety in that position. And then we're trying to, my whole thing at corner was I didn't feel great with our experience, but you had a junior college guy and Kendall Dolby. I knew his best position was closer to the ball inside, but I didn't feel that we had any established presence outside. And so I wanted him having a chance to make us better out there. And because he knows how to work, and he's going to bring out the best in those young freshmen that we had out there. So that was my thinking there. And then, some part of early in the season, we got to kind of bring him in because we were stagnating. We were kind of like this with, again, Peyton and Reggie and then getting Kendall in there and trying to find, all right, what makes us best here? And none of it's easy. And the biggest thing is they're all first year players for us. And so that we were a little inconsistent on what we wanted out of that position early. At times, high end, really, really good. And then at other times, not being detailed. And this game requires details and the little things you got to have right. Where your alignments are, how you bluff and disguise, your footwork, your eyes, your hands, your blitz angles, how you defend in the run, how you handle emotions. I mean, there's a lot that's there that we had to, have some real baptism going on at lots of spots. You had a lot of first-year players, but I love the group of backers. A lot more about the backers at this time than we did a year ago. And we had Connor Neer coming in last year, and then you had several guys that were, again, first-year players. We don't have that. Dasan McCullough had a knee scope on just a meniscus thing that we had shaved up, so he hasn't been able to go in our winter condition. He's been over on the side with a handful of other guys. Obviously, Justin Harrington, we're hopeful that we'll get the final word back, but we expect him to get that extra year of eligibility, and he'll play both cheetah and that safety as well. But getting those guys, we won't have either one of them in the course of the spring, or Dasan will be, but not Justin. And but feel really good. Again, Danny, Kip Lewis, Jaron, Kobe, Phil Pachotti's coming off an ACL. He's still rehabbing. We might get him a little bit in the spring. Sammy Omasigo was just a freshman last year. He's very athletic and he's big and long, but we're going to play him more. We're going to teach him how to play inside as well. he's a 4-5 guy, super athletic, and feel like he can really bring a lot, to the table. I love where Lewis Carter is. He's an absolute stud, and again, played for us. Really good special teams player last year. And but man, he's fast and explosive, violent, great blitzer, really good in coverage. Taylor Heim, every scrimmage we had the Future Freaks would scrimmage every Thursday, and Taylor made play after play after play all season long. And he's a 6'4.5", 6'5", 210 pound, 215 pound, 4-5 guy. He ran 4-5. He short shuttled 4-3 for a long guy. That's really good. So he's got tremendous change of direction, and really like where, again, he's at. And James Nest is here, and he's playing baseball for the baseball team, and he's having the time of his life. But he's a 6'3.5", 6'4". He looks just like he's a bigger Stutzman than Stutzman was as a freshman. And but James, he's gained great weights, 220 pounds, runs really good, and just long as all get out. And he's playing mostly cheetah, a little bit of will linebacker as well. And we got Shane Witter, that's really explosive and athletic as well. But got a great group of moving guys around, playing them at multiple positions. A year ago, we didn't feel like we could really do that. We felt like that would stunt their growth. And we played a little inconsistent in the back half of the season there, both because Danny getting hurt, and we got to get better at that position. Fundamentally, consistency wise, taking on blocks, tackling, angles to the ball, or force angles as we track the ball. I think will improve because, again, more knowledge, more experience, more trust in who's where. That's a big part of playing defense, and certainly in the back seven, as you become a really good, tackling defense. Part of that's because of the knowledge about where my help always is, and I'm taking great angles, and I know when I can take my shot, and when I know I'm all by myself or my help's inside, so I got to stay on the outside shoulder. That's big stuff that sometimes we make it look really easy, and at times last year we made tremendous improvement from where we were year one, and then some other times not so good. And so got to get better at making the layups, doing the little things well, but really excited about the growth and development there. We took one guy in the transfer portal, Caden Woolard, that he's had a hammy here the last several weeks. Hopefully he'll be healthy and ready to go for spring ball, but feel like he'll bring another big, long, productive bodies, 265 pounds and 6'5", and between him and Ethan Downs has just crushed it. PJ has crushed it. That group has just been outstanding. Really excited about, the young guys that are returning, some of the veteran presence that we have there. And Trace Ford had some off-season surgeries to get healthy for the first time. And this is his real first out of season that he's had in several years because of injury. And man, he's really taken advantage, of this time. And R. Mason Thomas, he was banged up the first half of the year, was not himself. He had 2 high ankle sprains, and he's 255 pounds. He's looked fabulous, really explosive. So between Ethan and R. Mason, PJ, hopefully by the season we'll get PJ to about 265 pounds, and he's over 250 now, 255, and he's learning how to play fast. And again, just a true freshman last year. True freshman going to do two freshman things, and not put your eyes in the right place, trying to make plays. And when we in our Kansas ball, we didn't play worth a flip, and particularly our front seven, and really as a defense in the first half in particular. But guys trying to make plays, be 7-0, feeling themselves a little bit, and having pretty good success. We had a play or two in the UCF game that we left a lot to be desired, but overall pretty good body of work through the first 7 games. And then we had guys starting to try to make plays, and I've seen it, been a part of it. And, and I bring that up because, again, we need to make the plays that are there, win and do your job only, and win your space, dominate your space, and getting guys to play with the discipline that it takes to do that. Excited about, where we're at from that standpoint. But Danny Okoye and Nigel Smith, both of them working at defensive end. They've been really impressive. And they don't fear anything. They got great respect for their teammates, great respect for being in the back of the line. But man, these guys are workers, and I'd say all these mid-years, they know how to work. And got 22 mid-years, freshmen. And man, I'm just pumped about what I've seen. Just the fearlessness with the humility, that blend. And I ain't got one complaint with any of them. And I haven't had to bring someone back down to earth. Man, these guys, you got to pull them back. And I love that. This is a hungry, driven, ambitious group of guys. Great focus to them. And not getting distracted so far. Again, we're just whatever we are, 7 weeks into the semester. This is a college campus. It's getting ready to get warm outside like it's been here lately, and all the things that can, distractions of the enemy of greatness, right? And the freshmen that transition quickly, they don't get distracted. They're so busy, with keeping their head down and going to work and staying on schedule and attacking the classroom, attacking the weight room, attacking their friendships, jumping in, with both feet in with soul mission, whether it's the service trips or, we have, 35 Fortune 500 companies on campus right now interviewing our players for May internships. Whatever it is, we're jumping in with both feet, and that's what this group of guys has done, which just gets me excited, man. I'm just really pumped with what I've seen. We've intentionally put them in competitive one-on-one situations to see, do it twofold. One, you want to have some guys have an opportunity to get humbled a little bit, to have good self-awareness. Like you got to get your butt whooped every once in a while to say, all right, here's what my weaknesses are. Here's where I'm good. Here's where I need to go. And so that's part of our job as a staff is creating this opportunity to bring out the best in them and correct the worst in them, but bring out the best in them. And then I want their teammates to watch these guys fiercely go compete, because that's how the teammates can earn their respect, to watch our guys go grind. And that's what I told all of them, man. Your teammates are going to respect you. You get your butt in here, you put your head down, and you go to work. This program has been built on blue collar mindset, dudes that are about that work. Harder it gets, the better we get. And so they're going to be checking you to see if you're about that, if you're going to be about it as opposed to talk about it. Because the recruiting, a lot of times there's a lot of talking, and a lot of social media, and a lot of stars and rankings and all that stuff, and none of that stuff matters. NIL don't matter. None of that stuff matters. When you cross that line, you go into that damn indoor facility. The negotiating time's over, and it's about earning it, and the work, and developing, and the strain, the failure, pushing you to limits that you didn't know you had. And then again, that's how you develop your football team and the foundation of what Team 130 is going to be about. And this group of freshmen, Jaden Jackson, David Stone, Wyatt Gilmore, he had an ankle surgery late in his high school season, so he's been out, but man, he's crushing it and all the things that he can do. But man, Jaden and David, man, they've been outstanding, and really pleased with the work that they've put in, the strain. David had for example, lots of little things, and we had several guys that I think Danny, Jaden, Michael Boganowski. These are all guys that weren't supposed to go through yesterday's mat drills. Somebody gave them a hall pass to, well, you got a hip flexor strain, you got a hammy, well, you got a foot, and they were all of them. We were willing to hold them out. And they said, no, I'm gonna go anyway, and I love that. That's what you want. You're going to have that motivational, to find a way, figure it out. The best ability is availability. Your butt ain't going to get on that field if you ain't practicing, and hard to, establish yourself. And these are guys that, man, they ain't flinched. But I'm equally proud of the older guys that have embraced them and helped them and served them and kind of help bridge that gap and get their arm around them and bring out the best in them instead of baptizing them. That the baptism happens naturally, on its own. But Jaden Hardy, Michael Boganowski, Reggie Powers, they're like that. love to compete. They're all talented and skilled in all their own ways, but these are guys that are mature beyond their years. And I would say as a class, this is a group of guys that are mature beyond their years and really fired up. Leadership from, DJ Terry has been outstanding. Jacob Lacey, he's one of our best leaders we got. Fortunately, he's going to probably have to retire from football with a blood clot. So that's a devastating blow for us, really counting on not only his leadership, but man, he's a really good player. He does all the little things right. He's in the gap, doesn't get knocked off the ball, all of his movements, man. We had one of the best havoc ratings in all of college football last year. We led the nation, with plays that we gave up either tackle for loss or the net gain was 0. We were number 1 in the nation for plays that were either tackle for loss or net plays at 0. He was a big part of that, along with our other guys up front. But he could do all those little things fundamentally and consistently that you got to do to win up front. And so, that was a blow. But man, we've had great leadership from all those guys. They're returning the experienced guys. Again, Woody Washington, Kendall Dobie, Kenai Walker. I'm really excited about, Robert Spears Jennings and, what he brings to the table. Peyton Bowen, a veteran Peyton Bowen, as well. Really excited about those guys. But Robert Spears had a great finish to the season, and man, he's been unbelievable. He's big, he's long, he's playing fast, he's confident, just doing everything right. And we got a great group of guys doing things right on and off the field. It'd be fun to see Eric McCarty. He was hurt with ACL. He tore his ACL in his state championship game, and then he had a hamstring that really hurt him as far as the rehab for the ACL and whatnot. But we're going to see him out there for the first time running around and making plays. And then Eli Bowen has been fantastic as well. He's got a pro mentality for a young kid, man. He's about his business, and whether it's recovery or it's nutrition or it's academics, or once you get out there, man, he's fast. His transitional movement is exceptional. Really has a chance to be really dang good. And some of the young guys, on the offensive line, again, that we've got 4 of them here, Daniel Akanume, he's been really good. His knowledge base is excellent. His work ethic is great. He has a little hammy that has kind of held him back a little bit, but Josh Asosa, Eugene Brooks, Isaiah Autry, they're all babies. In what role they play, we'll see. And, but man, they've been fearless and they've been working, and that's been fun to watch. Xavier Robinson really has exceeded my expectations. He's worked hard on his body. He's been fluid. Man, he is fundamentally sound. He's got a different mindset and shied away from nothing. And, he's got just a great disposition to him. Zion Kearney, Ivan Carrion, man, they've just been studs, in a deep group. Man, these guys have come to work and compete, really excited about where they're at. And the same thing, again, I know I mentioned Brendan and Mike Hawkins, what they've done, been just outstanding from a work ethic and just having an attacking mindset. Been a lot of fun, to watch that.
We'll get you back to the interview, but first, attention business owners, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at Insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
And head to OpulusClothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. TED for 10% off. That's OpulusClothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off. All
right, back to the interview.
That development and that progress.
This is the last one we got for you, Coach. You talk about it a lot. right? Kind of eliminating distractions, the outside noise.
Yeah.
But when you see things like your guys over under win total being set for 7.5, and you see things like you guys having the best, what I think it's the 9th best odds to win the SEC this season, is that stuff that you care about? Is that stuff that you bring up with the team? Is that stuff that you kind of file away, or do you just ignore it?
I think I would be lying if I said that that doesn't eat at you to some degree, that you're not aware of that. And certainly that's a challenge to all of us. Not many people outside the state of Oklahoma feel that high on the Sooners. And so, that's whether they think that they anoint you as the national champion, before you ever get to the season. That happens sometimes too. Or they say you're not going to be worth a dang. And wasn't many people saying much about us, after going 6 and 7 either. And but we kept our head down and we got better. We had a much better product out there because we worked. We knew there was a lot of work that we had to do to get better. And so hey, that is what it is. It's a challenge for us. And this is Oklahoma. We have an expectation to compete for championships every single year, regardless. Nobody wants to hear excuses or care about rosters and all that kind of stuff. And that stuff matters. And everybody's playing by the same rules. And so I like that. I like building things. I like challenge. And I've been an underdog my whole life. And looks like the Sooners this year going to the SEC are underdogs. So that's, again, I'm not making up a narrative. It is what it is, but none of that stuff has to do with anything with winning and losing. It's the work that we put in, our mindset, our consistency, the leadership that's developed. We've got a lot to do as a coaching staff from a scheme and, developing our team, getting the best out of our players, getting them on the bus is the first step. Now getting them on the right seat, and then getting the guys that are on the bus and maybe need to get the hell off the bus too. That's part of it too. I feel like there's less and less and less of that. I love our locker room right now, and getting the coaches on the same page. Speaking of just transitioning every year, there's a battle always going that behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. And I'm thankful for the coaches that are returning. Whether it's Bill Bedenbaugh, he's offered several jobs again. In the SEC, Alabama. Or Todd Bates offered SEC job, DeMarco Murray SEC job in the NFL, and these guys are, they're all in, and they didn't flinch. They want to be here at Oklahoma, and these are places that offered them even better opportunities from a financial standpoint, but they didn't chase the bag. They chased something that has longevity, and they believe in these players, and they believe in this university, and they love this university community, and believe in the staff. So I don't take that for granted in any way. And we have an opportunity to transition our roster or our coaching staff rather, and get better through change. We've had a lot of success here from a recruiting standpoint the first several years that we've been here. And we lost some great people, great talent to bigger and better things for them. That's part of the profession. And now you're ready to get better through that transition. And that's what we've been preparing really for a little over a year now, for this transition and this reorganization as college football is slightly shifted, and there'll be a little bit more of an NFL model, but this ain't the NFL. I don't want it ain't all, it's just going to NFL. It's going to a pro model. What does that mean? Because these guys in that locker room are 18 to 23, 24 years old. And the statistics are less than 3% of Power 5 Division I kids are going to have a chance to make an opening day roster. And these guys aren't developed in this locker room. All right. And we don't draft our guys. We got to recruit. And these are 2 and 3 year relationships that we develop with these players and their families as we got to go recruit. And we got 85 guys on scholarship, 125 guys on our roster, not 48 or 53 guys. And there's only 32 teams in the NFL. And then there's contracts, and there's salary caps and all these things that we don't have that the NFL does have. And my responsibility and my vision and my philosophy on how I want to run this program is about holistic development, transformational development, mind, body, and spirit. These are not grown men. These are babies. And many of them show up here and they're not shaven. They haven't had a long-term relationship. They don't have their driver's license. They don't have a passport. They've never been out of the country. They've never done an internship. They've never done a service trip. They have a lot of doubt and insecurities. And so this ain't like the NFL in most ways, but in some ways, and maybe your scouting departments and it is, I do believe at some point in time in the near future, there'll be contracts and it will be to a certain degree pay for play, if you will, some sort. And there'll be a little more equity, which is good. And I'm all for coaches being able to leave. I'm all for players being able to leave, but I'm also for contracts. That's a real thing, when, there's, that's just sensible. And so that we don't have that right now. And so that makes everything a little bit more challenging, but everybody has the same problem. I like the challenge of all of it. And, I like developing the relationships. I want these guys to stay for the long haul. When it's time for them to leave, they got their degree in hand and had this amazing experience, I want them to be sad, man. I want this to have been such an amazing, life-changing experience for them that they're sad to leave. It's over. I want them to have confidence and be empowered and prepared for what's next, like have clear vision for what they're getting ready to go do. Play the game a little longer, and then I'm ready to attack life. I know exactly what I want to do. I got my network set up. I've met my wife. I'm ready for life. But man, I'm sad. It's time to leave because this has been a place that has changed my life. That's what the vision is to me. That's what college has meant to me. I want the same things for every single one of my players that I got out of a locker room. And the transfer portal has caused a lot of chaos, and people have lost their vision. They can't see the trees through the forest. And you're the Antichrist. If I say something like, I don't like the transfer portal, nobody listens to what you say after you say that. And I want guys to learn the value of sticking through something, building something, fighting for something. The things that you value the most in life are always hardest to get, not easiest to get. And we've, without a contract, all right, let's pay them. I love it. I think that's great. And as I've said before, I've paid back student loans till I was 37 years old because my mom couldn't send me no money. There was no cost of attendance. There was no Austin money. There was no red card. We didn't have NIL. And I'm not complaining. My NIL was student loans, and I wouldn't change it in any way. I bought my first car. I paid for my insurance. I could have some, money to spend, whether I want to buy clothes or go on a date or hang out with my buddies. I didn't have to borrow a car. I could go to home. I could take my mom out to dinner, and I could pay for it. Took her to Chili's. And I thought, man, I'm growing up. It was a very empowering time for me. And so in all the right ways, we're using this as an opportunity to educate and to empower our players and to help them navigate a pretty chaotic environment and to navigate it the right way in a fruitful, long-term mindset. And but not to lose sight of the real return on investment is graduation, manhood, equipping you with tools to help you be amazing. Whether you're a husband, a father, a CEO, an NFL veteran, whatever it is, man, you show the uncommon traits that you developed through that locker room. And that's what it's all about to me. And I couldn't be more excited about what's in front of us, the future of Oklahoma, the leadership, President Harris, Joe Castiglione. I mean, those are dudes, guys that stand on their own 2 feet. They've been uncommon. Joe Castiglione, there's not another career of an athletic director in college football that any one of us can say, oh man, that parallels. Joe has been, a pioneer in every way, shape, and form. And, our athletic teams on this campus are a great reflection of that. But he gets it too. We all have a shared vision, from a development standpoint where we don't want to lose our way. We're not going to lose who we are. through a very transactional time, and we're going to be more relational and connected than ever.
Coach, that was awesome. We always appreciate the time. Spring ball gets going March 11th. I'm sure we'll see you out there at a couple practices. Watch the guys come work a little bit. I'm fired up, man. You got me fired up for spring ball.
No doubt. Hey, I'm going to personally invite you and Teddy, all right, because you're former teammates and players. We all share the locker room. Come on out and watch our guys here with our mat drills here before we get finished up.
Ooh.
Now you
Does that mean I have to wake up at like 5 in the morning?
If you want to get your workout in ahead of time, you need to wake up about 4 and get your workout in. So you show up there and you're already lathered up. You know, that's the challenge. That's what I like. I challenge myself. Just like, man, I'm going to be a doer. You know, I'm going to show up there, man. And everything that I do in that hour and a half that we're in there is all extra, you know? And
Dude, I'm going to jump in the drill. Let's go.
Well, good luck. I'm going to bring my camera and my popcorn.
That shoulder ain't ready, Ted. You've been telling me it's a little squeaky.
Hey, the coaches don't know yet, but I'm getting ready to throw their butts in there. They're getting ready to get called out in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
They better bring their cleats. And if you want to come, bring your cleats.
Okay. That's
Strong pass from me. Strong pass. Coach, I appreciate it, man. That was fantastic. Thanks for the time. You're the best.
You bet, man. Appreciate you all, man.
He's the man. He's the best. He covered a lot of ground per usual for him.
Right.
What really stood out to you?
Well, I think maybe it's the newcomers, early enrollees and the transfer portal guys. It sounds like he's really excited about the freshmen. Doesn't have a complaint about them. Ultra competitive, high level group of guys, both ability, physical ability, and like their demeanor, showing up ready to work. And sounds like there's some portal guys, offensive line, defense, Burks at the wide receiver spot, tight end. Like, he feels like there's going to be some guys that can really help us and make a big impact.
I think my biggest takeaway from hearing him talk about the team is just he seems really pleased with the level of work that they're putting in.
Yeah.
And he knows what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this time at Oklahoma before he was the head coach and the type of teams that you guys had, Ted, and then what he did at Clemson, like, he knows what it looks like. So the fact that he's as pleased as he is with the buy-in, the level of work, like what they're accomplishing throughout winter workouts, that I'm excited to hear that, man.
Yeah. And, I think the most important thing is it's not the same starting line as they had last year or the year before. When you look at the experience level of a lot of those guys that are coming back and kind of where they are as an overall team, whenever you hear him going through a lot of the statistics, both offensively and defensively, of where they ended last year, people have their feeling one way or another about where the football team is, but that kind of gives you a pretty good perspective of where they were. And you don't exactly start where you finished, but I think that they're, just a far more advanced program right now than they have been.
Yep. Almost spring ball time. Do you think he actually expects us to show up to mat drills?
Yeah.
They start at like 6.
I know.
The stadium, the stadium's like 30 minutes from my house. I haven't been up that early since college.
And he said, if you want to get a workout in, like he does, you need to get there at 4 a.m. So I don't know if that was an invite too.
Strong pass. Strong, hard pass. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, a couple birthday shout outs before we get out of here. Happy 8th birthday to Maddie Hladek.
And happy upcoming 52nd birthday to Barbara Debish.
I think you nailed that. Debish.
Barbara Debish.
I don't know. Happy birthday, Barbara. On that note, episode 400 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell all your friends about us, people. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. And until next time, We appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.